A combination that has the entire F1 world buzzing louder than an over-caffeinated swarm of bees. But while the hype is through the roof, the latest testing sessions have thrown some unexpected curveballs at the seven-time champion. Turns out his new teammate, Charles Leclerc, aka the Red Bullet, isn't here to play nice. Pirelli's Barcelona tyre test data shows that Leclerc has been laying down some seriously strong pace, making one thing abundantly clear: this is no easy transition for Hamilton. Could this be a sign of trouble as Lewis tries to get comfortable in his new Italian beast? Or is Leclerc's early dominance about to flip Ferrari's internal hierarchy on its head? Before we break down all the juicy details, smash that like button and subscribe for the latest F1 chaos, because trust me, this season is about to be absolute carnage. Now, let's talk about what actually happened in Barcelona. The Pirelli test gave us the first real head-to-head comparison between Hamilton and Leclerc in identical machinery. On day 1, Hamilton flexed his legendary skills with a solid lap of 1 minute and 15.930 seconds. But then, Leclerc decided he wasn't having any of it. Day 2. Boom. 1 minute and 14.971 seconds. Nearly a full second faster. That's not just a slight advantage. That's the kind of pace difference that makes people go, "Oh, this is getting serious." Of course, Pirelli was quick to wave their hands and say, "Relax, these times aren't fully representative. Different setups, different programs, blah blah blah." But let's be real. When Ferrari's own engineers start raising their eyebrows, you know something's brewing. Some paddock insiders are whispering that Hamilton might still be struggling to tame the Ferrari, especially when it comes to their unique Brembo braking system. Unlike Mercedes, which used industry-standard carbon brakes, Ferrari's setup is a completely different beast, meaning Hamilton has to unlearn a decade's worth of muscle memory and start adapting. And as any F1 driver will tell you, that's a major headache. But don't start writing Hamilton off just yet. Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur has made it clear that, at least at the start, both drivers will have equal opportunities. However, and this is where things get spicy, if one of them starts consistently outperforming the other, the team won't hesitate to throw their full support behind the faster driver. And let's be honest, Ferrari's history within team battles isn't exactly sunshine and rainbows. Just ask Alonso and Massa, or Vettel and Leclerc. When two alphas are fighting for the same bone, it never ends in a peaceful hug. One of the biggest question marks hanging over Hamilton's head is his age. Does he still have the sharpness to take on younger rivals like Leclerc? Well, if you ask Piero Ferrari, the son of the legendary Enzo Ferrari, he has no doubts. The guy is still a machine. He basically said, Hamilton's in peak condition, physically and mentally. Age is irrelevant. And honestly, he's right. Hamilton has been working harder than ever to ensure he's in top form, and reports suggest he's laser-focused on ironing out his weaknesses before the third race of the season in Suzuka. Meanwhile, Leclerc is living the dream scenario. He's been Ferrari's golden boy for years, knows the team inside out, and has built strong relationships with the engineers and strategists. That's not something you can learn overnight, no matter how many world titles you have. He's comfortable, he's fast, and he understands how Ferrari operates on a fundamental level. So what's next? If Leclerc keeps up this pace, could he become Ferrari's undisputed number one? Or is Hamilton, being the relentless competitor he is, about to rise to the occasion and remind everyone why he's a seven-time world champion? One thing's for sure, the Ferrari garage is about to get very, very interesting. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning. On the other hand, Hamilton's arrival isn't just about a flashy new driver in Ferrari red, it's a goddamn game-changer. We're talking about a seven-time world champion bringing an arsenal of championship-winning experience, a new perspective on car development, and a strategic mind sharper than a perfectly executed pit stop. He's about to shake things up inside the team, and let's be real, he might ruffle a few feathers along the way. Leclerc, who, let's be honest, might as well be called the Prince of Maranello at this point, knows exactly what this means. Having someone like Hamilton on the other side of the garage means the bar has just been raised to astronomical levels. In a recent interview, Leclerc acknowledged Hamilton's incredible experience and admitted that going wheel-to-wheel with someone of his caliber would push them both to new heights. Sounds like teamwork and harmony, right? Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. These two are built to win, and the moment one starts consistently outperforming the other, All that friendly talk is going straight out the window. The internal pressure will only keep rising as both drivers fight to establish dominance and secure Ferrari's undivided backing. And then there's team boss Fred Vasseur, the guy stuck in the middle of what could become Ferrari's most dramatic intra-team rivalry in years. Managing expectations, keeping the peace, juggling egos the size of the Monza podium. Yeah, no pressure, Fred. His leadership style has often been described as serious and pragmatic, but this season will be the ultimate test of his ability to balance teamwork with fierce competition. He's got to deal with media sharks sniffing around for drama, two drivers hell-bent on being the number one, and the ever-looming question: at what point do you start enforcing team orders? Because let's be real, if Ferrari wants to challenge Red Bull and McLaren, they can't afford to let their own drivers tear each other apart like rabid dogs fighting over a bone. F1 analyst Martin Brundle has already sounded the alarm bells. Ferrari doesn't have the luxury of giving Hamilton an extended honeymoon period to get comfortable. The SF25 isn't just a slightly modified version of his old Mercedes. It's an entirely different beast with a completely different feel. Hamilton needs to get up to speed fast. Brundle pointed to the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka as a critical checkpoint. By that stage, if Hamilton still hasn't fully adapted, Ferrari might start shifting their focus toward Leclerc as their title contender. And here's where things get even spicier. Inside sources at Ferrari are hinting that the team's long-term ambitions could hinge on which driver consistently delivers when it really counts. If Leclerc comes out swinging and starts laying down the law on track, Vasseur is reportedly fully prepared to channel all of the team's resources and strategy behind him. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's the same playbook Ferrari used with legends like Schumacher and Alonso. Find a leader, back him to the hilt, and make the other guy deal with it. But, and it's a big but, if Hamilton finds his groove, reminds everyone why he's got 7 titles to his name, and starts putting Leclerc in his rearview mirrors, Ferrari could just as easily pivot and throw all their weight behind him instead. Because if there's one thing Hamilton has proven over the years, it's that he knows exactly how to handle high-pressure, high-stakes title battles. When the heat is on, he thrives. Hamilton's presence in Maranello is already shifting the energy inside Ferrari, but the real test isn't just how quickly he adapts, it's whether Ferrari can finally operate at the level of ruthless efficiency needed to challenge Red Bull. For years, Ferrari has been a team of immense potential shackled by its own mistakes. Blistering one-lap pace? Check. Insanely talented drivers? Check. A car capable of winning races? Occasionally. Check. But what's always held them back? Strategy failures. Inconsistencies. Pit stop disasters. And let's not forget the infamous "let's discuss it later" radio messages that have torpedoed countless race results. This is where Hamilton becomes Ferrari's wild card. He didn't just win 7 championships because he was fast. He won because he knew how to shape an entire team around him. He demands excellence. He forces everyone around him to level up. And he doesn't tolerate mediocrity. In Mercedes, this mentality built an empire. If Ferrari can absorb this mindset, if they can match Hamilton's obsessive attention to detail, then this isn't just a fun experiment. It's the beginning of something terrifying for the rest of the grid. But let's get one thing straight. Hamilton isn't walking into a team built for him like Mercedes was. He's entering Charles Leclerc's kingdom. Ferrari's golden boy. The driver they nurtured, invested in, and, at times, bent over backwards to support. Leclerc isn't just another teammate. He's a fan favorite, a future world champion in waiting, and the driver that Ferrari has put their faith in for years. And now, Hamilton, a man who has nothing left to prove but everything left to win, has just walked into his garage, and suddenly, Leclerc's future is anything but certain. So how does this play out? Ferrari can't afford a full-scale war between their drivers, but history tells us that it's coming. Leclerc is not going to roll over and let Hamilton take control. But if Lewis outperforms him, the pressure on Ferrari to back the stronger driver will be unbearable. If they back Leclerc, they risk alienating the most decorated driver in modern F1 history. If they back Hamilton, they risk throwing away years of investment in Leclerc. And while they're dealing with this internal drama, they've still got Max Verstappen and Red Bull, Lando Norris and McLaren, and a possibly resurgent Mercedes to worry about. Ferrari is already juggling chainsaws, and we haven't even started the season. Then there's the psychological warfare brewing. Leclerc has been Ferrari's priority for years. He's had the team's undivided attention. But now, every session, every debrief, every strategy meeting will be a battle for control. Hamilton has been in this situation before. He's played the long game. He's dismantled teammates without them even realizing it was happening. Leclerc, for all his raw speed, has never faced someone like Hamilton in the same garage. This isn't Sainz, Vettel, or anyone else. This is Lewis Hamilton, the most politically savvy, mentally unshakable driver on the grid. Leclerc might think he's in for a fair fight, but the moment Ferrari starts leaning toward Hamilton in key strategy calls, in development decisions, or in who gets priority in upgrades, that's when the war truly begins. And don't think for a second that Hamilton won't fight to make this team his. He left Mercedes not to be a sidekick, but to be the undisputed leader of a championship-winning squad. The polite smiles will last until the first controversial team order. Then, all bets are off. Meanwhile, Red Bull isn't sitting around waiting for Ferrari to sort out their drama. Verstappen is coming into 2025 at the peak of his dominance. His confidence is through the roof, his team is dialed in, and let's be honest, he hasn't had a legitimate threat since 2021. But if Ferrari gets this right, if the SF25 is the real deal, then Verstappen is about to face a championship fight unlike anything he's experienced. Because Hamilton in a fast Ferrari is a different animal. He's relentless, strategic, and thrives under pressure. Red Bull might have a dominant car, but they haven't had to deal with Hamilton in a competitive machine in years. And what about Mercedes? Hamilton's departure has left a vacuum, and George Russell is stepping into the role of team leader. But is Mercedes actually ready to move forward without Hamilton? Their struggles over the past few years have been clear, and without Hamilton's insane ability to drag results out of nowhere, their weaknesses might become even more exposed. Could they suddenly find themselves slipping behind Ferrari and McLaren, fighting for scraps rather than championships? If Russell and their new signing, whoever that may be, don't deliver, then Toto Wolff's long-term vision might start to crack. But back to Ferrari, this is the moment. This is their chance to rewrite the script. They've spent years being almost there. Now, with Hamilton and Leclerc, they have the strongest driver lineup on the grid. They have a car that, if early reports are accurate, is a genuine contender. They have the budget, the resources, the fan base, and the motivation to end 17 years of frustration. But do they have the execution? Do they have the mental fortitude to not crumble under their own pressure? Do they have the discipline to finally become the cold-blooded winning machine they need to be? The first race will set the tone. If Hamilton takes control early, Ferrari will have a decision to make. If Leclerc lands the first punch, then Hamilton will have to respond. Either way, we are in for one of the most intense, dramatic, and politically charged seasons in recent memory. The 2025 Formula One season isn't just another chapter. It's a full-blown revolution, and Ferrari is at the center of it all. Lewis Hamilton's arrival isn't just shaking things up. It's detonating a bomb in the heart of Maranello. His presence alone has already forced a shift in mentality, and whether Ferrari can rise to the occasion or crumble under the pressure will define their legacy for years to come. Hamilton didn't come here to play backup. He came to win. And if Ferrari can give him the right machinery, he'll push them to levels they haven't reached in over a decade. But standing in his way isn't just Red Bull, McLaren, or a desperate Mercedes. It's Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's longtime golden boy, who is in no mood to be overshadowed. Their battle for supremacy within the team will be just as intense as the fight for the championship itself. This season isn't just about breaking Red Bull's dominance. It's about Ferrari proving that they can finally execute at a championship-winning level. It's about Leclerc proving his not just the future but the present. It's about Hamilton chasing immortality, not just an 8th title but the legacy of being the man who brought Ferrari back to the top. The stakes have never been higher. The drama is inevitable. And one thing is certain, 2025 will be a season for the ages. Buckle up,